we're recording, we're ready.
Did I just define it in the most succinct way?
When your subject matter is drawing from your own life, the audience then is able to build a relationship with you.
Hi, I'm Mandy Celine. I'm a cinematographer, editor, and I run my own post-production house for digital media.
I'm Halise, a digital storyteller and video producer, and I also run my own creative production company, Stumblewell.
My name is Valentina V. I'm a content director, cinematographer, and editor living in Los Angeles, California.
I am so excited to meet the mentees this week. We have 6 mentees coming in, and we're going to teach them all about how to create an engaging 1-minute video to highlight their artist statements or where they're trying to go in their creative careers. I'm really jazzed to just see where everyone is at and to show them that it really is not as hard as they may think to get into the creative spirit and just try something new. So I can't wait to meet them, and of course I'm excited to learn from the other 2 mentors as well. You never stop learning.
I would say that my area of expertise is that I am a multi-hyphenate. A lot of people, especially in the film industry, they try to put you in a box, and I think that that's based on the union system. Like if you want to be a union cinematographer or a DGA director, but in this new sort of adventure that we call social media and digital content, we can be whatever we want to be.
I would say for me, I started off wanting to do post-production only, but funny fact, which I'm sure both of you will agree, a lot of video editors make really great directors. So that's how I got into directing. And then it turns out a lot of video editors make really good producers. So that's how I got into producing. So yeah, I started off in video editing for different clients, more traditional work. So I think editing is what my strength is. I'm the fastest at that, but similarly, I know everything.
Very similar, multi-hyphenate, but I'm really good at social media. I have helped several YouTubers around the world. I run a post-production house for that, and that's how it got started, and then it moved into brands as they tried to understand digital more. So that's where I am, and I'm expanding my horizons generally, and I truly believe you can do whatever you like from with social media as the groundwork now these days, and move into TV and film as well, because I've done that as well.
I started by editing for YouTubers because I was really good at it. I've been editing since I was 7 years old. And then I started taking on other clients and telling them, yeah, I will edit this, but only if I can direct it. And because I was so good at editing, they let me direct it. And after a while, you start building up clients that keep coming to you for certain things. And then you grow out of those clients and you get bigger clients and you get bigger clients, and yeah.
I don't do freelance as much now, but I used to do it a lot. What is your best way to stay organized, motivate yourself and keep on task, because you're your own boss? That was the hardest thing for me, was being my own boss.
I don't know, I have a hard time with that question more because it's I like living and eating indoors, so if I don't do the work, then I don't get paid, and I need to pay my rent. But aside from that, usually it's more about if it's client work, then I want the freedom to have time to do the passion project that maybe has no budget or something like that. So the faster I get done with the client thing and the last invoice gets sent and all that kind of stuff, then I can go back to this random abstract avant-garde documentary looking to the left thing I've got going on that's just kind of fun. So I see it more as a means to an end to stay productive, for sure.
When you guys first started off, when down the line did you get intentional about getting a mentor?
But I think a good place to start is bosses or even just people. Don't necessarily think about a mentor as someone who's way ahead of you. Don't be afraid to collaborate across with people a lot. Maybe someone who's only a year ahead of you or 2 years ahead of you, or maybe it's a friend who got a client or a gig that you would have really wanted to get, and just having that quick meeting with them and being how did that happen? What did you do? How did you position yourself? If you can see someone who's maybe a year or 2 ahead of you and see what value you can maybe bring to them as well, that can be really helpful. Thinking in that way, what value can you bring to somebody, and then they can in turn want to give you something back, can be really good.
I find a lot, I guess, of the mentor things in my peers, the amount of times I DM this one, what do you think is a good rate on this? Am I doing enough? And just, yes, more. less. Like, you're nice and blunt and concise. But like, I find it in like, especially my peers, and I tend to navigate towards women just naturally for me. Yeah, and this one gets a lot of it, unfortunately.
My question was kind of like, how has working in the creative space changed your character?
It took me a really long time to actually value myself. And it was my boyfriend years ago was like, you need to charge more. And I was like, I have not valued my skill set for years. And I had people trick me into lower rates.
I think it's changed me in that like, I know what my limit is now. I have a lot of hard boundaries with not even just industry, but with family, with friends. Like I just have a lot of hard boundaries of what I know I can give and what I know I can give at the level that I want to make sure it's done well.
So as you're all kind of telling your stories, and this is something that whenever I like listen to podcasts about creators, there's the part of the story that's like, I took this leap, I was really struggling, I was so scared, and now I'm successful. And I'm really interested in what happens in that middle part. Yeah. Like, I always joke, like, I've been an emerging creator for 10 years. So, like, can you tell me a little bit about that midpoint in your career where maybe work's coming, but not enough to be choosy or to live off of? And, like, what made it tip into the point where you could start, being a little bit more in charge of what you wanted to do?
Regular clients. Like people that come back to you. It was a big one, but honestly, you never feel finished.
I was about to say, yeah.
Never do.
Yeah, I feel like I'm still at the midpoint. And you have these like milestones, which are like, oh, okay, my first commercial, my first music video, my first TV show, my first Emmy nomination. But you never really look back. It's always like, what's next,
Yeah, you don't appreciate it until, like, I had this phone conversation with this, and they're like, you're doing so well, you're so successful. I was like, it doesn't feel that way. And that's the sad truth. I think you never feel quite there.
In your project this week, what you're gonna make is a 60-second video where you are selling yourself. You are the product. So think of this, your audience is gonna be people who may want to hire you in the future. So potential employers, potential brands that you want to work with, people who open up your page or open up your website and they want to know, who is this person, right? So you just have to figure out the rest. I think that this 60-second video is not only a good exercise for our mentees, but it's also good for you. If you are a creative, it always helps to have a video on your website, on your Instagram, that describes who you are, sets a clear mission statement, and looks really good.